We know the exhibition focuses mostly on materials, on métier. How do you define this word, kind of matière, in contemporary luxury? So is it about craftsmanship, or it's more about kind of storytelling and responsibility and all of it together?
In fact, I don't use the word matière to talk about craftsmanship.
Yeah.
For me, it's two different notions. Craftsmanship is the way that we produce the object for our brands. Matière is the raw material.
Yeah.
And raw materials, I mean, alongside with the artisan's gesture, is the lifeblood of our industry. There is no luxury without exceptional materials. And this is part of the definition for me of luxury.
Yeah.
The first step for me of luxury brands is the raw material. They have to be exceptional. I mean, the leather, the silk, the cotton, the fragrant flowers, the grapes, the crystal, and many other. Today, materials carries different notions like sustainability, responsibility, where it comes from, how it has been sourced, the emotional and the cultural meaning of it. It's really two different notions, and both are the lifeblood of our industry.
Do you think the fashion industry has done enough to kind of educate consumers about its materials and the process of creation?
Frankly, no. No, or not yet. Fashion has been extremely powerful at creating desire, building images, telling stories. They're doing really a good job on that, but less effective as explaining how things are made, what materials truly are behind the object, why quality matters. My responsibility at Comité Colbert is to give visibility to this craftsmanship, to attract this new generation of artisans. That's why we are doing that kind of event, because we have to give visibility for the younger generation. 2 or 3 years ago, we started to communicate on TikTok with videos of our artisans explaining, young artisans explaining why they choose to be an artisan. In 3 weeks, the TikTok account exploded, and our videos with the hashtag savoir-faire reached over 500 millions of views. Because that shows that when we talk about craftsmanship to young generation, they are interesting to understand how things are made. So I think there is no opposition between the new generation and craftsmanship. That's just because they don't know.
In an era of digital fashion and AI-generated designs, so what do physical materials still uniquely provide, in your opinion?
I think that it provides something digital will never replicate. I mean, it's the sensory truth. I think luxury is not in opposition with techniques, and today it's the same with AI. We're already working with AI. But we have to change the narrative of an industry with only manual, with no technology inside. But it's not true. We don't today manufacture jewelry that we did even 30 years ago. Today we use AI to shorten the process of prototype, for example.
I think you've previously said that innovation isn't only technological, but it can also lie in the skills and in the mastery. So how do you convince kind of today's younger generation, very tech-driven, that kind of craftsmanship is still innovation?
I'm not absolutely convinced that today the Gen Z wants to work in technology. Because we see all these young adults that they come back to us with a new mindset. Of course, they are technophile. I don't know if the word exists. In their day life to play with that, but to work all day long with AI, I'm not sure that they want to do that.
Another question of mine was, how can fashion media move beyond aesthetic and better maybe communicate the process and material intelligence, in your opinion?
Yeah, 10 years ago, The luxury brand were very closed. They never showed the craftsmanship because they considered at that time it is part of the process, private process.
Hidden,
yeah. Hidden, and we do not talk about that because the star in a maison is the designer.
Yeah.
It's not the craftsman.
Mythical figure.
People. Yeah. And the mindset has changed, partly because we are facing a shortage of talents, so they have to recruit new artisans. But to recruit new artisans, you have to give visibility of their trades. Yeah. So they opened the door, and now we can see videos, pictures, artisans telling about their jobs, and I think that media are really part of that new visibility of these trades and of these people working in craftsmanship. And this is a good, really a good way to give another image, to talk about fashion, not only in terms of finished product, but in terms of process.
Yeah. We know that France has historically kind of shaped the global perception and language of luxury. And do you feel like it's still a case? And do you feel like maybe that cultural authority kind of moved a bit? Or do you feel like it's being challenged? Maybe what's your view on that?
I think that we're still the leader. Figures show that. And everywhere I travel a lot, and everywhere I go, I feel that France has still that kind of leadership because everyone is looking at us. Economically, we're still the leaders, but being the leader doesn't mean that we are not challenged. And of course, we don't pretend to have the best craftsmanship in the world. That's not the case. But for sure, we have the best schools. And our students challenge every year the process, the way we do things, the way we create. We are able to each year reinvent ourselves through the work of students. For example, I go every year at the fashion show of the IFM, the Institut Français de la Mode, and the work they do is tremendous. I mean, the show is amazing. So it's really refreshing to see that the new generation brings something new every year. This is a way for us to keep the leadership. But of course, you have beautiful craftsmanship everywhere in the world. I mean, in China, in Japan, in Korea, Thailand, India, Vietnam, Saudi Arabia. You have beautiful craftsmanship everywhere in the world. So we do not pretend that we are the best in class. But for sure, we have the best brand with a capacity to reinvent themselves, to produce product that everyone in the world wants to buy.
So what do you think is the perception of French luxury abroad? Like, what does it mean for, I don't know, especially young people, maybe in Dubai or in Asia? Like, what do you feel like is the general sentiment about the French luxury today?
I think that the vision that the people abroad have about the French luxury, it is this long-standing history, this kind of chic. We don't know where it comes from, but it's clearly part of the history, of the image that the people have. Craftsmanship is also important. People know how doing things with perfection. It's all that, and you add to that the philosopher. I mean, it's not about only luxury. The painters, the philosopher,
the culture.
The culture. When we talk about luxury in France, we say that it's a cultural and creative industry. And at Comité Colbert, we have the cultural institution, part of Comité Colbert. That means that we are much more than just luxury.
So Comité Colbert is built on heritage, but we know that to be relevant today for luxury brands, they need to adapt, they need to kind of move fast. And how do you feel, what do brands should do to kind of prevent heritage from becoming rigid?
There is no risk when I see all these brands working on their heritage, when I see all these students in the school who wants to reinvent the heritage. they don't want to just replicate.
Yeah.
They just want to reinvent something new, starting from the heritage. So I do not have any fear that we are like blocked in the past. The past is for sure the lifeblood of this industry, but this is not the future.
Yeah.
When in a fashion company you have a new designer, look at the work Mathieu Blasi or Jonathan Anderson did
Yes.
at Chanel or Dior. The first thing they do, they are going to see the archives.
The archives. Yeah, absolutely.
It's not to replicate the archives, but just to understand the maison, understand the history, understand the mindset, to reinvent it. When I come back to the work of Mathieu Blasi and Jonathan Anderson, they use the perfection of the work of the artisan. They work with them, they use them, it's kind of alliance between the part of the same process.
Yeah. Luxury is kind of built on limited access and on small supplies of different goods. And so, but we know that to be relevant globally, you need to move fast and you need to scale. So where do you kind of draw the line before luxury loses this integrity, this maybe gets overexposed? How do you keep this, how do you see this balance?
It's funny because the last week or 2 weeks ago, I gave a lecture in front of students, and the question was, but why the luxury industry? The luxury industry is something which is rare. And I think, no, you're wrong. I think luxury is the narrative as luxury has no link with scarcity. For me, the luxury is first the raw materials. They must be perfect. It's a question of craftsmanship. So this is the tangible part of luxury.
Yeah.
The second part of luxury, it's about the emotional part, the history of the maison, the archives, how to make them lasting in the time. The third thing is relational, because when you buy a luxury goods, we don't need luxury to survive. We need water, we need food, we don't need luxury. So luxury is a question of relational. I wear luxury because it's a question, for me, the way to show my status to the other. So it's purely relational. So in these three answers, raw materials, emotion, relations, there's no place for rarity or scarcity. So, but the way for the maison to give the impression of rarity is to supply very small quantities, because they have 300 shops everywhere in the world.
We know that the expectations of luxury clients are also evolving today, and they're also, we see that they're evolving beyond products into experiences and other things. What is your view on that? How do you feel that this luxury maybe demand is evolving?
This is probably the most challenging thing that we have with the younger generation, because in my generation, in the past, if you give me 10,000 euros, I would spend all that in bags, jewelry, and so on. Today, the younger generation, we see that in figures, in surveys. When you give to younger generation 10,000 euros, they will spend probably 2,000 euros in product, and 800 euros in or 1,000 euros in experience, in travels and something like that. So it's the big shift. And the shift, we saw already that shift before COVID. Now we see that movement again, coming back to experience. So this is quite challenging for the maison. That's why they're all going into restaurants, cafe, different things, and they all work on experiences inside in their shop to make the things beautiful, like a theater,
Yes.
you know.
Or a gallery.
Yeah, or a gallery or something like this.
As the closing question, maybe I will ask, how would you define Comité Colbert or its mission in 3 words?
Wow. So the answer is we are the official body of the French luxury industry. So that means that I'm here like a spokeswoman of this industry in France at all levels, political levels, economic levels, in Paris, in Brussels, abroad. We have a motto at Comité Colbert, which is to passionately promote, to sustainably develop, to passionately transmit French savoir-faire and creation, to infuse a new sense of wonder.
Wow.
This is our motto, and when you work in luxury, it's all about wonder.
Yes.
Bring wonder to people.